Hello. It is Tuesday. An okay day. Tuesday. No, it's not Monday. Monday, it's not the weekend, for what that's worth. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's April 21st. So far, so good. I'm feeling good today. For the first time in many days, I slept. Boom! Good 8.5 hours. No birds woke me up. No anxieties woke me up. Slept through, feeling good. I have coffee. I'm ready to roll. How are you guys doing today? I see people are flowing in from Patricia in Florida. And who do we have here? Renata in Houston. And Laura in Central Ohio, or Central, Ohio. Karen in Fort Collins, Colorado. Fort Collins is a nice place, I understand. Corrine in Pasadena. Lots of you all over. I don't see a huge amount of global representation so far. Marion in the Netherlands. I was wrong. Who else? Yes, lots of you out there with various weather reports. Here in Phoenix, getting hot. This weekend, it might break 100 American degrees. It's April, people. Not sure what's going on here. I went back and looked at previous years to see whether this is normal for April, and it's not. Okay? We've moved here, at least for the duration, and I'm expecting some cooperation from the powers that be to make sure that it's pleasant. 100 degrees? Maybe not. But it'll be warm enough to go swimming. I guess there's that benefit. So we'll deal with that when the time comes. But in the meantime, I have been enjoying myself in various ways. But one of the ways that I think has been interesting, and I would like to know what you think about this. But if you go onto the internet, as you have, as you're capable of doing, I know because you're here now, you will discover a new genre, a new creative form. And that is creative collaborations, often in a musical form, on Zoom. You know what Zoom is, right? Of course. So video conferencing, and the first time I saw it was when John Krasinski, who has a great show, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure you have, but it's called the Good News Network or something like that, where basically once or twice a week he presents nice stories from around the world. But he did a thing where he had this little girl who wanted to go and see Hamilton on Broadway. He brought the entire cast of Hamilton onto Zoom to sing for her. And I thought it was fantastic. And I've also seen Alvin Ailey dancers do it. And it's become a thing now where people are performing on Zoom. And it's really, really nice to see. So, yes, some good news, correct. Sorry, SGN, some good news. So, yes. So, I'm intrigued by that, but I have to say, I think that obviously the heroes of our time, it's become a cliche, but the heroes of our time are, you know, um, those people in the healthcare industry in particular who are responding to this health crisis. But I would say another thing that I'm seeing a lot of, and I think is really nice, is musicians and artists who are giving their time and their talent to share and to inspire us. And I think that that's, I'm certainly not equating it with doctors and nurses, but I think it is nice to see people putting that effort into it and to sharing. And I think it's a tradition in humankind, which is that music and getting together is a way that we form our community, that we identify our community, right? We all, whether it's on one level singing a national anthem, but it might be in church singing hymns in a choir. It might be sitting around a campfire singing together. And I'm not suggesting that we're going to sing together. You don't want to hear that from me. But I do think that this idea of collaboration and sharing it via the internet is great because it also shows that despite our separation, we are able to come together and create. And I think that that's really great. And we saw that last week with our masks project. I thought that was really cool. So one of the things um, I'm not talking. I'm sorry, distracted by people giving me advice about Zoom. That's not really what I'm here to talk about. I want to talk about jazz, actually. I love jazz. It is, um, it is a beautiful art form. I care a lot about it. I have listened to jazz my entire adult life, and there's many forms of jazz that I really love and revere, and many jazz musicians that I love. But I want to talk about jazz because I want to talk about drawing. And I've always felt that jazz is um, it's just a great way to think about the practice of drawing. Jazz musicians are extremely accomplished. They are they are they know their instruments really well. They know musical theory really well. They know musical history really well. They understand where they come from. They spend a lot of time in preparation, right? Preparing themselves, learning fundamentals and foundational things that allow them, when the time comes, to spontaneously react. You a long time ago, I wrote a piece about Keith Jarrett, who is an improvisational pianist, specifically about uh, uh, an album that he did called the Cone Concerts, where he just sat down in a crowded concert hall with nothing and just by himself played for I don't know, an hour and a half, and music just flowed out of him, and it's spectacular, but it's also magical, mind-boggling in a way. How is an artist able to create out of nothing? And I think that that's something that we have to think about when we are drawing. What can we glean from this process that jazz musicians go through? You may not like jazz, fine. You may be, I don't know, polka enthusiasts, or you enjoy the nose flute, as many do. But to look at jazz and to say, okay, you're working by and large not from a score. You don't have a plan of necessarily where you're going to get, but you are reacting in the moment, and you are calling upon these foundational skills that you have honed in many ways. Okay, so I want you to think a bit about that when it comes to your own practice. Like, what are your expectations when it comes to drawing? I think a lot of us, if we were starting out to play an instrument, would be very intimidated by the idea of sitting in with a jazz combo and trying to improvise. We probably couldn't do it. But I think anybody could pick up a triangle or a tambourine um, and improvise something. Like, we could make some kind of noise. We could tap on things. We could begin to make some noise, right? We could begin to express ourselves. Similarly with drawing, you could pick up a pencil. You could begin to draw. But of course, nobody would be paying good money to hear you do that. So it's going to take time. You're going to begin with this knowledge that you're on a path. But ultimately, what you're trying to accomplish is similar because it's about the focus on the present. It's about the process. That's what jazz is ultimately about. Yes, jazz is recorded, and yes, there are revered jazz recordings, and yes, there are even relatively structured and composed pieces of jazz. I don't know, Rhapsody in Blue, Duke Ellington. There are pieces of music that have been structured, but by and large, when you go and see a jazz performance, which hopefully one day we will be able to do again. When you go into a jazz club, which hopefully we will be able to do once again, you sit in front of a group of people who maybe have a starting point. Let's play Begin to Begin. Let's play, I don't know, Around Midnight. We're going to use that as the subject, just like let's draw that shoe, let's draw that tuna sandwich, let's draw that naked lady. We have a thing, but now we're going to see what happens. And when we're seeing what happens, we, the audience, are there with them seeing what happens too. They don't know, we don't know. It's happening, and then it's happened. Maybe somebody recorded it, some, I don't know, Japanese jazz enthusiasts secreted in a pocket recorder and recorded it, but it was not for that. It was for this moment. And similarly, when we are drawing, it is for this moment. It is not for the recording. It is for this moment. So I want you to just be in that headspace when we're drawing. Okay, I'm blathering on, but I want you to think about that, because what I wanted to do today is I wanted to share with you something that maybe you saw, which was on Friday. The jazz musicians who are associated with Lincoln Center, which is an important place, thanks to Wynton Marsalis. Jazz at Lincoln Center is an amazing program. And what they did on Friday is they had a virtual gala. Gala? Gala. They had a virtual one. And they brought in musicians from around the world. And several of them did live performances that appear to have been shot and recorded on their phones or something. Amazing, amazing artists. So what I did is I got this recording and I wanted to share some pieces from it, and I wanted us to draw while we're listening to it, okay? You can draw the musicians. You can draw your coffee cup. You can draw whatever you want, but I want you to respond to the fact that this is a thing that just happens. We go with it, we feel it, we make something, and then we're done. Okay? There's several pieces of music in it that are mind-blowing, and they're not what you think jazz is. Okay, so if you're like, oh, jazz, great, I'm out of here, I'm going to go and watch, I don't know, something else. Don't. Stay here. Watch this. It may make you love jazz. It may make you love drawing. It may make you love the World Wide Web. Okay? I'm going to pull up my iPad because, again, today I can't be bothered to do anything but draw on my iPad. I just spent a lot of time last night sitting outside drawing on the iPad, and man, I love it more and more every day. So I'm going to pull it up. You pull up whatever you want. You could draw on anything, with anything. You could twiddle your thumbs. You could knit. You could make a peanut butter jelly sandwich while we're doing this. Whatever you want to do, just be in the moment and let's see what happens, okay? And if jazz makes you nervous, you don't know jazz, okay? So I'm going to show you some jazz, play you some jazz. We're going to see what happens, and then we're going to go from there, okay? Then we'll come back and talk about it.
Welcome. My name is Glenn Close, and I am delighted to be a part of this evening. We may all be quarantined and isolated for the moment, but as you'll hear, jazz is all about liberation and the best possible evidence that all of us, everywhere, are in this thing together. We're going to start in Rio de Janeiro, in the living room of Hamilton de Holanda, the master of the 10-string bandolim.
pessoal! Hello, my name is Hamilton de Holanda and I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We to invite me to join you guys on this Jazz at Lincoln Center Gala concert. I came from a musical family. I was born inside an instrumental music tradition called choro. For me, choro and jazz are in the same family. Choro is the grandfather of bossa nova, and it is a fusion between African and European music. Music teaches a life lesson for me: the importance of harmony, social responsibility, and freedom. I will play the first song that brought me closer to jazz, All the Things You Are. I will share this moment with my son, Gabriel. Stay safe, lots of love for all of you. Muito obrigado.
Hola, soy Chucho Valdés. Estoy deseando que todos estén bien y que estén recogidos, que estén en su casa, porque ya todo esto tiene que pasar y cuando pase volver a disfrutar de los grandes conciertos de jazz en el Lincoln Center. Ahora, por lo pronto, lo dejo con una versión que hice de My Foolish Heart y ojalá que la disfruten.
everyone is at home with more musical traditions, from classical to country music, than the acknowledged master of the accordion, Richard Galliano. Here he is from his home in the south of France.
Jazz requires sacrifice. It requires that each artist allows others the room that they need to be at their very best. From an apartment in Miami, here is one of the most creative partnerships in jazz today. Cecile McLaurin-Salvant and Sullivan Fortner.
belongs to you and me.
Hi to all you brave faces around the world. We've been through a lot together, and we're going to get through this. One world, one people, one love. This is for you. Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile, even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you'll get by. If you smile through the fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you'll see the sun come shining through for you. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you just keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll see that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Light up your face with gladness. Hide every trace of sadness. Although a tear may be ever so near, that's the time you just keep on trying. Smile, what's the use of crying? You'll see that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Oh, smile.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed this evening. Our thanks to everyone who made it possible. Artists, donors, patrons, students, supporters, and fans. When we can finally be together again in person, let's not forget the lengths we went to be together tonight. Let's remember and think about the love this stellar roster of musicians expressed for the music that will continue to unite us. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. Until we meet again, keep right on swinging. Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. That was fun. It was exhilarating. I feel like I'm doing this to you guys every day. Let's go. Let's move. Let's clear. Let's go and make some stuff and get our hearts pounding. And that did get me going. Yes, it's true. Wynton Marsalis, who is the head of Jazz at Lincoln Center, who was the guy who spoke at the very end, incredible trumpeter. His dad, Ellis Marsalis, died recently. He was an incredible jazz musician. So, yes, that was good. I feel like my sinuses are cleared somehow. I made a few different things. Let's see what I made here. I don't know. I'm not even sure what I was doing. I was just like, let's just try something. So that was, I mean, how great was it when his son came on? And I had to kind of stop drawing because, like, that was so fantastic. That kid, I mean, how old was he? Like 11, 14, with a little bow tie with his dad? Oh my God, amazing. Um, I was somehow entranced by his butt, but I thought he was an incredible pianist. And it's so cool to like just seeing inside their homes as well. Like that's another amazing thing that's going on with this stuff. It's just anyway. I mean, honestly, the accordion. Is this how you think of the accordion? You know, it was just. I mean, it's an incredible instrument of any kind. We think of it perhaps initially as like polka, then you think of it as like norteño, you know, which is amazing. Sort of, I guess it's on the border of Texas, but just thinking of the role that the accordion has in Mexican music. I mean, the accordion is basically a portable piano, so people have played it and interpreted it in so many different ways. We think of it as in gypsy music, gypsy jazz. You think of it in Paris, you know, the sort of classic Sur les Toits de Paris, the sort of typical Edith Piaf kind of accordion. My first father-in-law used to play it in the basement, which is another story. Yes, but to see that was incredible. How great was she? How amazing when her voice came out. And I just love the look of her and those glasses. They were just beautiful. I feel like I want to go back and keep working on her because there was just something the energy of her and the quality of the voice. And, and then that final piece, like that was one of the Zoom collaborations I was talking about. Seeing that trio, Diane, her voice singing, her glasses, her hair, it was great. So it was really fun. It's something, you know, to draw. I mean, a lot of times I find that when I go to a jazz club and I try to draw, it is a disaster for a number of reasons. Alcohol, dark room, the pressure of the crowd, but also I feel like the part of my brain that listens to music is sort of the kind of related to the part of the brain that's drawing. And I'm asking them to multitask. So I'm never very happy with drawings that I do while I am listening to music. In this case, however, there was something about this experience. It was more fun. I felt like I was the brightness of the iPad, the big juicy lines. It just somehow felt okay. But a lot of times, honestly, I'm hesitant to do this kind of thing, to draw with music. I don't know. I love music. I think that's the problem. Maybe it's like too many enthusiasms converging. It was great. So, yes. So my drawing of Diane Reeve may leave a little bit to be desired, but it was a response to the moment. So that was very nice. Yes. For those of you who want a link to this, as in all things, when I set up these videos on YouTube, sometimes on Facebook, but definitely on YouTube, I always put notes, and the notes have links. And in this case, one of the links is to the full concert. You should watch the whole concert. Some of it is these little, live recordings, but a lot of it is actually great moments from jazz bands and orchestra that are part of Lincoln Center in pre-recorded things, so you can actually see people playing live. It's definitely worth it. It's an hour or so, beautiful music, a great cause. If you want to support Jazz at Lincoln Center by giving them some money, that would not be a bad thing, because God knows, I mean, what's going to happen to musicians, people? I mean, are people going to be afraid to go to concerts? We already give their music away for free on Spotify and the like. You know, musicians depend on concerts to make a living. What's going to happen if you can't go to a concert? I don't know. It makes me upset just to think about it. Because I think of all art forms, I mean, it depends on an audience, certainly a ticket buying audience. So I don't know. I'm sure not a lot of people are making donating to jazz musicians a high priority for them. God knows, but yeah. Anyway, yes, Gina, my book about drawing without talent has an exercise to draw music, doesn't it? Yes, yeah. Do as I say, not as I do. But no, it's true. I mean, I think sitting and drawing while listening to music is one thing. For me, being in a concert live is, I mean, I've done it many times. I never feel satisfied. I feel like I'm judgmental and I want to be open-minded. So that's just me. I'm sure you and many other people will um, do better than I did. Robert has a good point. New ways have to be developed, a new economy, a brave new world. It's true. This is what I say to myself every day. There are billions of smart people on this planet. There's a few billion not so smart people, but there's billions of smart and creative people on this planet. And we as a species have weathered many storms before, and we will do okay. But it's things like this that we want to think about, you know? All these corners of things that need to be rethunk, you know? Museums. Are we going to be afraid to go to museums for a while? To art shows? I mean, what if you can't go to a museum? I mean, this is all going to change. We all know this is not a permanent condition. This is something that is going to, you know, be with us for a while. But in the meantime, you know, what about individual people, musicians? Sure. So let's meet again tomorrow. Yesterday, my very kind wife sat with me and we actually thought through what we're going to be doing this week. So there's actually an idea now. I have an idea for, at least I'm not kind of thinking about it right beforehand. So I'm trying to put a bit more thought into these things because you're here and you deserve that. So actually, what I would ask you to do is if you've done anything interesting today that you'd like to share, do it on social media, put hashtag SBS Drawing Party so that I can see it. I'd like to. And if you would like to get more information, not information, if you'd like to get more thoughts from me, I'm doing a lot of thinking these days, sitting around here, and I'm writing stuff. So the stuff that I'm writing, I will email you. I won't mail it to you. Is there a post office anymore? Yes, but I will email it to you. And when I email it to you, you will know what I think, and you can tell me what you thought about what I thought. The way to find that stuff is to go to sketchbookskool.com/Danny's-list. And that's a list of that you'll be on that I will send you stuff. So I've just started it, but I will keep doing it. Thank you, Morgan, for sharing it. There we go. Okay. Yes. What else? Saturday, this coming Saturday, a few days from now, Kosha is going to be having a workshop. And this workshop is, I think, if you think that this makes your pulse race today, this will give you a full cardio workout, this class of hers, in which you will be developing 50 ideas and building a sketchbook with 50 pages of drawings and ideas for stuff to do when you go, what am I going to do? It is Kosha's Killer Sketchbook Filler. Kosha's Killer Sketchbook Filler. It's not going to kill you, but it is going to fill up your sketchbook with ideas, and you will come away in, I think it's less than 2 hours, with this amazing resource that anytime you're thinking, what am I going to do? You're going to come to this sketchbook that you made, this workbook really, that will give you all kinds of ideas. So go to sketchbookskool.com. There you'll see it obviously prominently under workshops, and you can sign up for it. And you will also have lifetime access to the recording if for some reason you miss something, because it's going to be moving fast. It's going to be really, really good. And you have to sign up. I think Friday is the last day because we need to close this up and get it going. but Kosha and Morgan and I have had many conversations and run-throughs of this thing. It is really great. It's going to be really phenomenal. So I hope you'll join us. Anyway, all right, that's the various bits of business that I wanted to do. If nothing else, let's come out of this experience with the ability to just boldly dive in and start making art. Kosha's thing will do that. This thing we did today will do that. Yesterday's Bob Ross, that Bob Ross thing was pretty wild, wasn't it? And I saw a huge number of amazing Bob Ross paintings and drawings that came out of that. And boy, old Bob, you think of Bob as being laconic. Well, I like to tell you about my magic white, my little pet squirrel, and the other critters that's living here in the bayou with me. And meanwhile, the guy is slapping paint on and knocking out a painting in 20 minutes while talking like this and telling you about his afro and his, how he cleans his brushes. And meanwhile, boom, there's a painting. I think all of us who went into it thinking, oh, it's 420. Yesterday was 420. 420 is the supposed weed smoking celebration, and that it was going to be kind of a cool, laid back kind of experience. And instead, it was an adrenalized, caffeine fueled hyperganza of creative outputtery that was amazing. So anyway, as I'm saying, maybe what we're going to come out of this quarantine having done is being incredibly fast and agile in our idea making and our art making. Somebody was talking to me about how they were getting prison ripped. Prison ripped meaning that people who are in prison do push-ups and pull-ups all day until they develop these incredible physiques. That she was doing that in quarantine. She was working out like crazy. And I was thinking, no, this is my barbell. I'm pulling myself up with this damn pencil every day, and my drawing muscles are rippling, fueled with adrenaline and just maybe not testosterone, but you know what I'm saying. So making stuff, I have a huge bag here of this stuff, of the stuff that we've been making, and I hope you do too. If you join me here every day at noon or 9 or whatever the hell time it is for you, you'll be joining me on this productivity marathon. Speaking of marathons, Morgan ran a virtual marathon this past weekend. It's crazy. Morgan, our dean of students at Sketchbook School, loves to run these epic marathons. They're not even marathons. Marathon is nothing. Marathon is a trot around the block for her. She runs 100+ mile races. Yeah, 30 hours of running through the night, through the Kentucky woods, dressed in shorts and barefoot. I don't know what she's doing, but she's out there running through the night, making, putting herself through all kinds of hell for some God knows reason. But now she went on a virtual run this past weekend where she had to every 4 hours, she had to run 5 miles. So she started at sometime in the afternoon, I think it was, 4 o'clock, ran 5 miles. 8 o'clock, ran 5 miles. Midnight, ran 5 miles. 4 a.m., ran 5 miles for something like 24 hours. Madness. This is what people are doing. Okay, so she is a badass. It's true, Darby. So listen, Gina, I missed the beginning of this conversation, but if you're worried that this workshop of Kosha's is an intermediate level one, it does say it's intermediate. I personally think that if you're a beginner, it's not a bad place to start too, because some of the exercises, these are the foundational things that will get you going. So I wouldn't worry about that. I would say, yes, as Robert says, leave your excuses somewhere else. Just get going. All right. Are you sufficiently fired up? You going to join me here again tomorrow? Are you going to get some friends to join you and me? Are you going to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get alerted? Because I often hide myself in weird crevices and you don't know quite where to go. Don't worry about it. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube. Hit the bell that appears afterwards, and it will notify you. If you're on Facebook, you can always go to Sketchbook Soul News page, and you'll get notified there. All right, guys, that's it. We're done. Support the arts. Listen to jazz. Do some drawing. Show up tomorrow, and I'll boss you around and tell you some more stuff to do.